everyone, and welcome to the G3 Boardroom. Today we're going to be reviewing World of Warcraft, Wrath of the Lich King. Our hands just touched. That was weird.
Do you feel magic?
A little spark.
Just go.
Okay, we're going to go with it. I love this game.
Wow. Okay, good. Why?
I think it's a little bit weird that the pandemic game is now turned into like a mechanic. So now anytime a game, spreads. I mean, is this the same company that makes Pandemic that makes this?
Yep,
Okay,
Z-Man.
so I guess that's it. I guess they can use it then. But
And there's a Star Wars one, and there's a Cthulhu one.
Go ahead.
I'd rather they come up with a different name for that mechanic.
The pandemic system?
Spread or something.
The spreading system?
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
The scourge system.
Does it bother you because it rhymes? The pandemic mechanic.
Pandemic mechanic. No, it just this game is it's not Pandemic. And
That's true.
For people to talk about Pandemic and associate Pandemic with this game would make me not want to play this game because I've already played Pandemic and it can be brutal. So I like the mechanic of multiplying bad things, I guess, but I don't know. If you're playing a game where you're buying and selling things, people don't call it the Monopoly mechanic. It's
They might have
it's a
50
trade
years
system.
ago.
Yeah, possibly.
Fair enough.
So I guess that's a plus with a bonus quibble. How's that?
A plus with a bonus quibble.
Yes. Thumbs up with a wrapped in a quibble.
No, I enjoy it. Well, again, I'm a big fan of the pandemic system. I've played almost every single pandemic game out there, from Cthulhu to Iberia to On the Brink. So I obviously am a big fan of it. But what I enjoy about this particular game is that it's close enough to Pandemic that you feel like you understand. Oh, I've played that type of game. I know the rules behind it. But it's different enough that I'm not playing Pandemic at all. Yeah, I'm drawing cards to add enemies, and I don't know, I guess I'm playing cards sort of like you do in Pandemic, but it's completely different. Mm-hmm. So it adds enough variety that I really feel like it's a completely different game, just kind of borrowing a few elements here and there from the Pandemic original game, for better or worse. I mean, I love the idea of the adding these quests. That's brand new. I've never seen that in any other Pandemic style game. Mm-hmm. I enjoyed the miniatures. I think they did a good job with these. It's a fun game, and it feels like you have to work together. You will not succeed at all. You must work together. But
it's like, and the other Pandemic games the same way.
Yeah, but at times I've played that game enough that if you have certain characters, that one character can just dominate the game. Mm-hmm. Like if you have the medic, he'll just go around and heal everything. You just watch him heal everything.
Yeah, I mean, they make a big deal of the Pandemic system, as says right on the box, but there's so many, listening to what you just said, there was a lot of things where, well, it's different from. This one, when things, they don't chain, they don't chain react throughout, right, which is kind of key to the Pandemic. And since this doesn't do it, I don't know, it's different enough from the Pandemic system that, I don't know, it's almost like they're trying to sell it as a Pandemic type game, where I think it's better sold as a World of Warcraft game that happens to have these
I don't know if that's true, and the reason I'm going to say it like that is putting a Pandemic name on it and Pandemic twist on it is going to bring additional people into that marketplace.
Correct.
People who would never buy a World of Warcraft game.
Yeah.
Then there's people who would buy a World of Warcraft game who have never played Pandemic at all. And so I think it's kind of a best of both worlds thing.
Yeah, it's assuming that everyone loves the Pandemic.
I can't stand it.
Because if I would have known that this was, you bought this game and we played it was great, and I didn't really pay too much attention to the box. But if you would have said, hey, we're going to play this Pandemic type game, probably would have passed.
Really? Okay. Because that's interesting, because I know we've played the Pandemic Season 1. legacy game. We really, really enjoyed that.
We enjoyed that.
Yeah.
Season 2, not so much.
Throw into the woods.
So I guess it all depends on, everything can be a hit or miss. But I guess for Z-Men games, I think what Jason was saying, I tend to agree that most people tend to enjoy pandemic-style games. It's one of the most popular games in the world. It really is. They wouldn't make...
The entire world played it in 2020 and 2021. That's all we played.
How many different versions of Pandemic are there?
China's still playing it.
Like 17? I mean, you don't make all these different versions of the game.
Right.
It's like Catan.
Yeah. There's just endless variations.
Endless variations of Catan. Same thing with endless variations of Pandemic because it's so popular. So when you're going to sell a game, I think it's probably to their benefit to call it a pandemic system game because I think that would draw more people in to drive them away.
I think so. And you have bleed through that goes, now you have people who might have bought this because it was a pandemic game. Now they're a little bit more immersed in the World of Warcraft universe, and now they might actually try World of Warcraft, and it works the other way too. World of Warcraft people might have bought this, said, hey, that's a really cool board game, and went the other way. So I like the marriage of the two. But for my thoughts on the game, I'm with you both. I really like the quests. I think that's a lot of fun. I think they did a good job on the miniatures. It's pandemic enough that it uses that system, but it's not so much pandemic that it gets to... What we really didn't like about the second season of Pandemic Legacy was it takes 20 minutes to set up and you lose in 5. So if you lose faster than it takes to set up the game, that's a problem. But we're talking about this game. I would say this. There's variations on the levels of difficulty, and we played at medium.
Low medium.
Low medium, okay. So if you watch our playthrough, we play at low medium, and I don't think we were ever in danger of losing. We had a couple spots where it's, okay, go over here and deal with this, go over here and deal with that, but we didn't get into a jam at all. I really like the cooperative aspect of this, but one thing I really enjoy is you're doing the quest, and all you gotta do is show cards to contribute.
Correct.
I don't have to discard the card, so...
Yeah.
I've played games where on your turn I can do something, but I have to discard the card to do it. Then when it gets around to my turn, I have nothing left to play. And so I really like that. I can just show the card. There it is, advance the track, and I get to keep my card.
Yeah, I really like that too.
Right. I do enjoy this game. I think I enjoy the cooperative aspect. I like that the characters have some really cool abilities.
Yep.
Chain Lightning's fantastic. Dave was turning the shields into hits, and and then I'm shooting people from way downtown. So I think the abilities are really good. I like the characters. I like the card art. And it's a quality card too. I'm going to sleeve them eventually, but it's a nice card that's not going to wear out. It's good stock. Oh.
Well, first you got to put your hands in the bag of potato chips.
Savages.
And then,
Savages. Hurt my soul. My only quibble about this game is really, I think the abominations need to do more damage.
I find that interesting.
I feel like they're not weak, but I feel like they're underpowered. But then again, as you noted, you had one jump to your space on your turn and hit you. And then it's going to hit you on my turn. And it's going to hit you on Jay's turn. If they're doing more than one, they bury you, I guess.
Yes.
And so it's a balancing thing, but it just feels like they're a little bit weak. But other than that, though, I like that the stuff on the card is free actions. They don't take up your turn. And so it feels like it's designed to be a little bit easier than a normal pandemic game would be. But I do enjoy it. I picked this one up on a steep discount, but I feel like I've got my value here. It's a fun game.
It's funny that you said that you like it because it's got enough pandemic elements. It's like I kind of like it because I feel like it has fewer, a small amount of the traditional pandemic elements.
It's got the right mixture of pandemic.
That's interesting. You say you don't like pandemic though.
I gotta say, it's one of those games that everybody loves, and I realize it's one of those deep dark secrets to say I don't care for it. But Pandemic, I could take it or leave it. To be honest, I'm not a huge fan. Part of my problem with Pandemic, which doesn't exist with this game, but it doesn't exist with us, which is Pandemic is very easy to quarterback other people's turns. You need to go here, you need to go there, you need to do this, you need to do that. We don't really do that to each other very much. It happens where, hey, this is suboptimal, that's a little bit better. But for the most part, we're not. Dave,
usually we're like, take care of that.
Yeah.
Do your job.
You're free to use your own discretion as long as that's been dealt with.
Right.
But we don't really do that to one another, and that can be a problem in pandemic games. where you just have, like I said, alpha dog, I call it the quarterback, where someone's just, you need to do this, you need to do that. No, don't, and that becomes
okay,
becomes bad.
Okay, take your turn. Here's what you're gonna do.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Then you might as well just play solo with 3 hands.
Yeah. Okay.
One more quick comment. I like the fact that in this game there's a lot of variety as well. That you're not going to play the same game more than once unless you play it a bunch of times. Each quest, there's like 3 different spaces you quest at. Each of them has 3 different quests you could choose from.
And there's 7 characters.
There's 7 different characters, and the reward cards. There's like a dozen of those. So there's enough variety in there that every time you play, there's hopefully should be a unique experience each time.
What? Oh, go ahead.
Well,
James,
another thing I don't like about it, maybe about the pandemic mechanic, is that once you pull the what was the card that made the
Scourge card?
Yeah, the Scourge. Once you pull a Scourge card, well, now you reshuffle everything there's there. So you have all the cards that have come out that are starting to accumulate guys. Well, those now go back to the top.
Right.
And they kind of stay at the top.
Yeah.
Because every time there's a Scourge, they keep staying at the top. And I think that if we played this at a low, medium level, maybe that was fun. But if we up that level anymore, well, maybe the old pandemic problems start rearing their ugly head.
Where you get 3 cards
crushed.
and
and then you're recycling 3 cards. So I'm not a big fan of that part of the mechanic, and I don't like that in this game. It hasn't been a problem for us, but I could see it becoming one.
Yeah, I get you. But I will say, I do like this game. I enjoy it very much.
I mean, I've enjoyed it the times we've played it.
It's not clear that you enjoyed it.
Well, we've sort of got off on this tangent of we're not talking about World of Warcraft. We're talking about pandemic and and Z-Man's marketing strategy. I think that's different. I enjoyed this game as we played it, but I think that if it gets the higher difficulties, then I think
rapidly unenjoyable.
The bugs in the pandemic system would start to come out.
Well, I guess that's what it all depends. Do you want to play a game to enjoy it, or do you want to play a game to hate it? You play the game where it's balanced so you actually can enjoy the experience, as opposed to I'm going to make this so hard that I'm going to absolutely hate this experience.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
But last thing, really quick, I really wanted to talk about this. The artwork on this is really, really
It's
neat.
very nice.
It's really cool.
Yes, it
and
is.
This is,
yes.
if this is the stuff that was happening in World of Warcraft, that could be very enticing.
The thing about what I like about the art on the cards is this is essentially the same card here. This is a move card, and it's a free action move any hero on your space up to 2 things, and they use different art.
Absolutely.
It would be so easy to just use the same art, print 3 different cards, and call it a day. But that to me is a little bit, that adds some quality to me.
I remember in our unboxing we talked about how much we enjoyed the
artwork.
The artwork.
Did we?
This one.
Should watch the unboxing.
I really like the fact that they even add a little story. If you really want to get that big into role playing, you have a little story, a background on your character.
That is another one of my minor quibbles, though. I do have to say this. So here's my character, my actions, my health, all that stuff, but my starting spot's on the back. And
I guess they could have put
They could have put it on the
force
front.
you to read the story.
Yeah, you only need your starting spot,
At the start.
at the start, so you don't need to keep referencing it.
Yeah, but if it was on the front too.
But now that it's on the back, aren't you enticed to read the story?
But it does show you. That's another thing that's cool about the Scourge cards in this. It shows you. It says where you start, but it shows you where you start. And so you don't have to stare at the board for an hour trying to find the right place.
Right.
It shows you. And it shows you what your character looks like. So those are all helpful little things.
I highly recommend this.
I recommend it as well.
I recommend it too. I mean, despite what's been said, things have been said.
Something was said. Something was said.
So despite that, I enjoyed this game. I would recommend this game. Yeah.
Absolutely.
As is.
Well worth it.
Yep.
All right. Well, we got through it. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this, consider subscribing to our channel. We would love to have you. And we'll see you in the next video.